to Write On Awards Ceremony. I'm Miranda Madrow, an Adult Services Librarian at Loudoun County Public Library. The Write On Adult Short Story Contest began in 2013. Participants are asked to submit a previously unpublished story under 2,500 words of any genre. This year, we accepted submissions from July 1st to August 31st, and we received about 70 short stories from all over the DC region. Thank you to all of those who participated. We have a special guest today that will announce the winners for me, author Andrew Joseph White. Andrew is a queer trans author from Winchester, Virginia. He received his MFA in creative writing from George Mason University earlier this year. In June 2022, he released his debut young adult novel called Hell Followed With Us, a post-apocalyptic horror book with LGBTQ and autistic representation. Hell Followed With Us is a New York Times bestseller and indie bestseller. Andrew has also contributed to 3 anthologies and published 2 short stories. He was a judge for the Scholastic Art and Writing Awards and a volunteer mentor for transgender youth with Fairfax County Schools, often incorporating writing and art in his mentorship methods. Andrew currently lives in the DMV area as a full-time author. You can find out more about Andrew on his website at andrewjosephwhite.com, and you can find him on Twitter and Instagram at AJWhiteAuthor and on TikTok at Andrew Joseph White. Thank you for joining us, Andrew.
Hi, hello. First of all, thank you for introducing me. Those were some incredibly kind words. I'm so excited to be here today as part of the Write On Awards ceremony. It's just so cool to be a part of like any event that encourages people to write and put that writing out into the world like we're doing here today. So thank you to the library for putting this on and, encouraging art in the community. You're doing a great thing. But secondly, I wanted to say thank you to everyone who sent their work to the Loudoun County Public Library for this contest. All of you, like whether your name is said tonight or not. If you'll excuse me, I'm just gonna like wax poetic for a minute because art is such a wonderful, powerful thing, and I love seeing people come together to create it and celebrate it like we're doing here. Especially because I want to mention how cool what you've done is. Like, I'm just saying, writing, right? Like, you've made something from nothing. You've taken a part of yourself and put it on the page. And that's important because writing is life-changing. Not just for the readers, although that is nice, but like for you, the writer as well. Because like I know this from experience. The act of creating something that speaks to you has literally like altered the course of my life. I don't know where I'd be right now if I hadn't taken the leap and written Hell Followed With Us. Look how beautiful it is. It's gorgeous. And, all of the unpublished novels that came before it, like the 11 that I wrote across, being a teenager and being a young adult, like how much longer would it have taken me to realize who I am as a person without taking the time to write hundreds and hundreds of pages, like dissecting that, right? How much longer would I have had to wait before discovering my gender identity if I hadn't taken the risk to write about my feelings first? Would I have ever found out that I was autistic if I hadn't written honestly about how I see the world? Because, like, that's what happened. When I wrote my first transgender character when I was, 16? And it was through him and all of the other trans characters that came after until I was 19 and couldn't deny it anymore that I was able to, reflect on my own feelings and come to terms with what I had been kind of denying all my life. And when I wrote my first autistic character, the research that I did to portray him respectfully made me realize the truth that I was, in fact, like him, that everything I'd been struggling with since childhood wasn't my fault, wasn't my own weakness or failure, but instead just a difference in how I experience the world. Without writing, how long would it have taken for me to realize those things? Would I have realized them at all? I don't know. All I know is that writing is one, cheaper than therapy, and two, a form of miracle working. You learn so much about yourself and the world, and then you take what you learn and then you gift that to others. You provide a mirror for them to look at themselves or a window for them to look into your life. Isn't that so cool? Like, if you read Hell Followed With Us, if you're like me, I hope you see yourself reflected in those pages. And if you're not, I hope you learn about people like me and get to know us a little better. That's cool. That's powerful. I hope every writer gets the chance to know that they've made an impact like that. But I hope it impacts you too as a writer. I hope when you were writing these stories that you learned a little bit about yourself. I hope you were, able to put a finger on a hurt that had been nagging you, found the words to celebrate a love, or could pay tribute to someone you miss. I hope you were able to untangle a conflict, see from someone else's point of view, or teach the world about your own. So, no matter who you are, if you've submitted a story to this contest, if you've written anything at all, you've done something special, really special. And I thank you for that. So, with that, let's not wait any longer. Let's get to the winners.
Awesome. Thank you, Andrew. I feel like we need a t-shirt that says writing cheaper than therapy. So there were so many talented submissions for the Write On contest this year that it was hard for my colleagues to choose just 3 winners. And so I'll ask Andrew to read the names of 10 honorable mentions before revealing the first, second, and third place winners.
So, without further ado, here are the names and story titles of the honorable mentions for the 2022 Write On Short Story Contest. First up, we have Oro Boros by Taryn Noel Cloden, a tragic story of a woman who marries the wrong man and follows him to a cursed land. Then we have The Last Log by Kara Kavicia, the story of a young girl named Bella and her mother who are grieving the loss of Bella's father. Next up is Prince Allium by Richard L. Towers, the story of Benny, a young boy who finds something interesting under the sink that keeps him company while his father fights overseas in World War II. Next up is Still Yvonne Ivanovich by Bari Lee Hine, the story of a woman questioning her path in life after attending a high school reunion. Then there's Tree Hunt by Elizabeth Morrill, the story of a not entirely satisfying family trip to a Christmas tree farm. There's The Snack King by William Kohudik, the story of 2 friends who go on a surprising adventure to find the source of a new brand of chips. There's The Apology by Douglas R. Thompson, a heartbreaking story of a man who attempts to apologize to his wife. There's Diamonds by E.A. Smiraldo, the story of a struggling woman who receives life advice from a surprising source. Next up is Picture Perfect by Shannon Taft, the story of a woman returning to her husband after a solo vacation. And then there's Only My Mommy Can Be My Mommy by Alyssa Casanova, the story of a child with a big magic wand and a big imagination. Congratulations to the honorable mentions.
Congratulations. Wonderful job to all the honorable mentions. And now Andrew will reveal the third, second, and first place winners.
So, in third place, we have Kathy M. Song with their story entitled The Eggs from the Market. Kathy will receive a $50 prize and a copy of my book. Kathy's story is about 3 hardworking siblings who take care of each other. Here is a short excerpt from Kathy's The Eggs from the Market. The next morning, Brother Lin took Jing to the farmer's market, bright and early, with 1 yuan to spend. Jing had 20 fen left. She grabbed the coins in case she saw something she liked for the Mid-Autumn Festival. The same beggar recognized Jing, though this time he did not speak directly to them. Instead, he shook his steel bowl of coins and spoke to no one in particular. "Have mercy on me. I haven't eaten for many days. My wife is dead from illness. My son is sick at home." Brother Lin paused and reached for his pocket for 50 fen. He headed over to the beggar. "Brother," Jing took Lin's hand in surprise. "But we hardly have anything," Jing protested. Brother Lin stopped and looked at his little sister, who was still feeling guilty about the eggs. His little sister, who never had the opportunity to attend school or enjoy carefree days at home as a child. She became an orphan at the age of 3. Jing, Brother Lin said softly, no matter how little we have, there is always someone with less. So congrats, Kathy, on winning 3rd place. In 2nd place, we have Annika Hudson with their story entitled Invisible Walls. Annika will receive a $100 prize and also a copy of my book. Annika's story is about a woman receiving treatment at a hospital. Here is a short excerpt from Annika's Invisible Walls. Anne is tired now. It has been 8 hours since she first arrived. The space in her heart for everyone else's emotions is quickly filling up. She wants to go home and not feel anymore for a while, at least until she comes back tomorrow. At last, the text arrives. There's a neighbor in a Prius waiting outside for her. She gathers her things and walks through the halls towards the exit once again. As she leaves, she sees the elderly man standing by the entrance, face plastered against the glass looking in. Looking back over her shoulder, Anne sees the woman from earlier being led away. She's waving slowly to the man outside the glass. He waves back with an identical motion. Then they both look away, and soon she has been taken too far down the white hall for him to see her anymore. Where she is going, Anne doesn't know. Where he is going now and who will be with him in the time he needs it the most, she doesn't know either. She's tempted to open the Prius door and usher him inside, but that wouldn't be right. The old man has already slowly turned around and started walking towards the bus stop. Congratulations, Annika, for winning 2nd place. And then, last but not least, in 1st place, we have Bobby Carducci with their story entitled Call Me Silver. Bobby will receive a $200 prize and a copy of my book. Bobby's story is about a girl who was given the perfect nickname by someone she'll never forget. Here is a short excerpt from Bobby's Call Me Silver. Jackson could have been a real hellraiser. The other boys would have followed him all over creation if he'd just been of a mind to lead them, but he just wasn't interested. He was a quiet boy. Most often he would go off on his own, studying plants, fishing in the creek, or looking deep into the night sky. Hell, he even read books when school was out for the summer. He preferred the company of girls. After a while, other folks began to notice how he talked a bit too soft, admired the women's clothes a bit too much. Rumor told how one day the preacher's wife went by the Curley home collecting for the poor and spied Jackson through the window, walking around in his mama's shoes and Sunday hat. There's something off about that boy, she told the Reverend at dinner that night. So congrats, Bobby, on winning 1st place in the 2022 Write On Short Story Contest.
Congratulations, Bobby, Annika, and Kathy. Again, these 3 writers will be sent a copy of Andrew's book, Hell Followed With Us, and their prize money by mail. The prizes are courtesy of the Loudoun Library Foundation, so thank you very much to them. You can read the full short stories of the 3 winners and 10 honorable mentions in a digital anthology at library.loudoun.gov/writeon. Thank you again to author Andrew Joseph White, also to the committee of LCPL Adult Services staff members who read all of the submissions and chose the winners. And congrats to everyone who competed. Keep putting your work out there and practicing your craft. You can check LCPL's event calendar for writing events so you can meet other writers, learn about the publishing process, and get feedback on your writing. Best of luck to all of you in your future writing pursuits.